Hi, this is Chris. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to show you how to take a whole number written in expanded form and convert that to a whole number written in standard form. Now, I've actually done this in 3 different videos, a part 1, a part 2, and a part 3, because there are 3 different ways to actually write a number in expanded form. Look carefully at each of the number sentences on this page. And if the version of expanded form that you're working with looks like this number sentence at the bottom, where you see 10 raised to a series of different powers of different exponents, then you're on the right video. This is part 3. If the version of expanded form that you need to work with looks like this first expression, then you want to click on the link to the right that takes you to part 1 of this video series. If the version of expanded form that you're working with looks like this second number sentence, then click on the link to the right and that'll take you to part 2 of this video series. Before we get started, let's look again at the expression at the bottom of the page, and you'll notice numbers like 10 to the power of 2, and 10 to the power of 1, and 10 to the power of 0. These are called power of 10 numbers. And if you're not familiar with power of 10 numbers, then I strongly suggest that you click the link below this number sentence, and that'll take you to another video on powers of 10. That's going to be knowledge that's going to be very important and very helpful to you as we work through converting this from expanded form to standard form. This problem calls for me to write this number in standard form. And to do that, I'm going to go to each set of parentheses, and I'm going to solve the expression inside each set of parentheses. So first I'll solve for 7 times 10 to the 4th power. And then I will solve for the expression 9 times 10 to the 3rd power. Then I'll solve for the expression 9 times 10 to the 1st power. And then finally I will solve for the expression 2 times 10 to the 0 power. All right, in solving this first expression, I'll bring the 7 down. And I'll bring the parentheses down. And I'll bring down my multiplication symbol. Now 10 to the 4th power, that can be written by simply bringing this 1 down. And since I'm raising it to the 4th power, I'm going to simply add 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll put my other set of parentheses and put my addition sign. And we'll cross that out because we're done with it. Yeah. Going to my next expression, bring down the parentheses, bring down the 9, the multiplication sign, and for 10 to the 3rd power, I'll put a 1, and because it's the 3rd power, I'll put 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3. Then put the right side parentheses, put my addition sign, and we'll cross that expression off. We'll bring the 9 down, bring down the multiplication sign. Now I'll bring down the 1, and I'm only going to put 1 0 because this is raised to the power of 1. This will be 9 times 10. And then finally, bring the 2 and the multiplication sign down. And this is 10 to the 0 power. So that's going to be a 1 followed by 0 zeros. So I don't put any zeros after this 1. It's just 2 times 1. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and finish solving for each one of these expressions. So we'll go back to the first expression, 7 times 10,000. Very simple to do. We'll bring this 7 times 1 is 7. And then count zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 9 times 1 is 9. And I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So bring down 1, 2, 3 zeros. Now I've got 9 times 1 is 9. And bring down that 1 0. And then finally 2 times 1 is 2. Now you can see what we've got here is an addition problem, and that's exactly how we're going to treat it, just like an addition problem. We're going to take each one of these numbers and we're going to align them vertically. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll start with my 70,000. And I want to make sure I keep one digit to a column, so I'll go 7, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, 4 zeros in 70,000. I've got 4 zeros here. Okay, and now I'm going to add 9,000. It's very important that when I do this, that I keep my numbers lined up along the right side, along this right column. Okay, so a little trick that I'm going to use is I'm going to count my zeros. 1, 2, 3. And then starting on the right column, I'm going to put in my 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, and then put in the 9. This keeps my numbers lined up on the right side, on that right column. And we'll cross the 9,000 off. All right, for 90, I've got 1 0. So I'll put 1 0 here on the right column. Bring this 9 over. Cross that off, and then finally I have a 2, and it will go in my right column. And now let's just go ahead and add this up. Starting on the right column, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2, of course, is 2. Working to the next column, 0 plus 0 plus 9 is 9. Here I've got 0 plus 0, that's 0. Then 0 plus 9 is 9. And here I have a 7, nothing to add to it, so it comes right on down. And I'll put my commas in, or put my comma in. And circle my answer. So in standard form, this would be 79,092. Before we go on and work another example, I want to show you a mistake that people make a lot of times when they work these kind of problems. They'll go to each one of these expressions and they'll go to this first whole number, this single digit whole number in each one of these expressions. They'll go to the 7, and they'll go to the 9 in this expression. This expression they'll go to the 9, and then this last expression they'll go to the 2. And they'll take each one of these whole numbers and they'll just simply bring them down and write them in order, left to right. So they go 7, and then 9, and then they'll bring this 9 down, and then they'll bring down this 2. Well, the problem with this method is, as often as not, it's going to cause you to get an incorrect answer. And if you remember, the correct answer when we worked this problem out just a moment ago was 79,092. So, unless you really understand place value and you really understand what you're doing here, and you pay really close attention to what you're doing, like I said, more often than not, if you try this shortcut, you're going to end up with an incorrect answer. All right, let's work this one out. This one's going to give us some bigger numbers, but we'll go through the same process. We'll still go to each one of these expressions and solve for each one of these expressions. and then proceed as an addition problem, just like before. And we'll start with 2 times 10 to the 6th power. So I'll bring down that left parentheses, and then 2 times, and remember 10 to the 6th power I can write as 1, and because it's to the 6th power, we'll add 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 times 1 million. And now I'll go to 5 times 10 to the 5th power. Bring down that left parentheses, bring down this 5, and bring down my multiplication sign. And then 10 to the 5th power I can write as 1. And because it's to the 5th power, I'll follow it with 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times 100,000. On my next expression, I'll bring down the 4 in the left parentheses. Bring down my multiplication symbol. And then 10 to the 1st power will be a 1 followed by 1 0. So 4 times 10. I'm almost out of room, but I think I can get it on here. 8 times 10 to the 0 power is going to be 8 times, and that's going to be a 1 followed by no zeros. So it's 8 times 1. It's raised to the 0 power, so that tells me to put 0 or no zeros after the 1. And we'll cross that off. All right, we'll come back to our first expression. And let's see, 2 times 1 million. Now let's bring down this 2. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In my next expression, 5 times 1 is 5. Then bring down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 4 times 10, 4 times 1 is 4. I have 1 0 to bring down. And then finally, 8 times 1 is 8. Now we have an addition problem, so let's go ahead and align this vertically. We'll go 2, and then we have 6 zeros, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, we want to align these, or we have to align them on this right-hand column. So just a little trick to make that a little simpler to do is I count zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then starting on the right column and working left, I'll add 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then bring that 5 on down. And I get to 40, I've got 1 0. So I'll put 1 0 in the right column and bring my 4 on down. And then finally I've got 8. And we'll add this up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 8. 0, 0, and 4 is 4. And here I've got 0 and 0 is 0. Next column, same thing. 0 plus 0 is 0. Same thing on the next column. 0 plus 0 gives me 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. And then bring this 2 on down. and I put my commas in, and I can see that this number converted from expanded form to standard form, 2,500,048. Well, thank you so much for coming by, and I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'll put a link page up here in just a minute with some links to some other videos on some topics that will help you work through these kinds of problems. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you for coming by.